Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I talk about movies, recent Blu-ray releases, and today is a release from April 2023, a French film from 1994. This is Wild Reeds, directed by Techine. And it is a film I saw back when it was released in the US in 1995. It's sort of been kind of forgotten. I actually forgot about it myself. So when I saw this on the upcoming schedule, I thought, did I see this? And then it did come back to me. But it was very critically acclaimed at its original release in France. It won 4 César Awards. That's the highest award in French cinema for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Screenplay. And Elodie Boucher won for Best Actress in the newcomer category, and all 3 of the boys were nominated for Best Actor in the newcomer category for the César Awards. When it's released in the U.S., it won Best Foreign Film from both the LA and New York film critics and also the National Society of Film Critics. So it is a coming-of-age story set in 1962. It's set in a rural town in southern France, a boarding type school. The quartet that you see on the cover, they are what in U.S. terms would be high school seniors about to graduate, but they have to go through a series of tests in order to earn their baccalaureate. So they're very much have anxiety over how well they have done in these series of tests. So they're very serious-minded people, kids. These are not the Hollywood party animal coming-of-age type kids. They're engaged with the world around them. It's a changing world, to be sure, and the Algerian conflict very much on their mind and very much affects their lives. Now, Mayte, this character, she and her mother are both members of the Communist Party. Her mother is a teacher at this boarding school, and she teaches French literature to the 3 boys. So, and her best friend is Francois, and Francois is sort of a stand-in for director Techine. He and Mayte have a very close friendship through their childhood. There doesn't seem to be any physical love involved in that relationship, but he's very intellectual. He drags her off to Ingmar Bergman films, and being the stand-in, this is often while Reeds is often termed part of queer cinema, which it certainly is, because both the director and this character discover and struggle with their sexual identity. And he has very much an attraction to Serge, and Serge is a farmer, a sharecropper. They had sharecroppers evidently in 1962 in France, and he's the son of one of them, one of those sharecroppers, and his older brother has been a soldier in the French army, has been killed in these waning days of the Algerian War. So he's very bitter about that. And then there is Henri, and he is the real outsider of the group. He is a Algerian-born French citizen, lived all his life in Algeria. His father has been was killed in a bombing by the insurgency in Algeria. He doesn't try to make friends with anybody, but he is a very mysterious figure to the other 3 students. He listens to the pro-OAS radio station constantly, and the OAS being the right-wing nationalistic segment of the French army who was fighting to keep Algeria, and who believed that de Gaulle, President Charles de Gaulle at the time, was betraying France when he allowed Algeria eventually to vote whether they wanted to be independent or not, and the OAS would go on to make many several assassination attempts on President de Gaulle. And you can, if you've ever seen The Day of the Jackal, you will see reenactment of one of those one of those assassination attempts against de Gaulle. So it was very much a changing world that that this quartet of students is facing, and and what is most interesting, I guess, to me is the bonds of friendship that develop between these four characters, because it can shift. It can shift as events proceed in the movie. They are opposites can attract. There is confusion as you really feel this sense of how they're preparing themselves for their transition into what they see as the treacherous adult world. Where is their place going to be in this in this new world? Because, as I say, the French society is changing. The whole world is changing and opening up. Now, this is there's no music score here, but there is a soundtrack of pop hits. So, being 1962, we get Del Shannon, Chubby Checker, and the Platters, the Beach Boys. In the somber moments, we get a little bit of Samuel Barber's Adagio for strings, a very mournful piece of music that was used so effectively in Oliver Stone's Platoon. And in the supplements, there is a visual essay by Daniel Kramer, who highly regards this film. If you've never seen any of his Kramer's visual essays, they're very idiosyncratic. They're very personal, very poetic. He talks about the French literature that is part of we see the students in class with Métay's mother, a very significant character in the film, as she teaches them, as she's instructing them in this poetry, and we also get an interview with Serge as a grown-up, and he talks about his relationship with André Techine. Serge had never been in a movie before, neither had the actor who played Ennui. The other two actors had been in some minor roles, but this was the debut film, and Serge says that he had only seen 2 movies in his life. And he found this, he was into sports, he played rugby. I think he was discovered on a rugby stadium, and he just absolutely loved this new world that was now open to him when he finally was cast in the part. It took quite a while for him to be cast in the part. And Techine was not a new director. He had made many films, and several of them had starred Catherine Deneuve. So Catherine Deneuve had visited the set, and the actor who played Serge, he didn't even know who she was. So he said, "Who is this regal character who is visiting?" Now, the film itself was originally part of a French television anthology series, and different directors would make 1-hour movies, coming-of-age movies that had something to do with their own personal life. And Olivier Assayas, Claire Denis, Chantal Eckermann, some other fairly famous French filmmakers participated in this anthology series. But when Techine made his segment, it was he wanted to expand it. So the actual, I guess, the television series, the first 55 minutes of the final film is what was on the television series. Now, we also get a poster, a very large poster, and I can't possibly show. This is the final scene in the film, set at the river. Which is really an excellent concluding scene in the film. And then on the other side, we get the essay. Now, this is really hard to read. You got to set this out on a flat surface in order to read this essay. It's by Caden Mark Gardner, and it's called "The Reed Bends: The Political and Sexual Tumult of Wild Reeds." And he includes a quotation from La Fontaine, which is very part of the French class, because we get quite a few scenes in the French literature class, and so I like this quote, so I'm going to read it to you. This is from a fable by La Fontaine. The fable is called "The Oak and the Reed," and it goes like this: "The tree holds up well, the reed bends. The wind doubles its trying, and does so well that it uproots that, the head of which was neighbor to the sky, and the feet of which touched the empire of the dead." Now, this is a beautiful film. It's lushly photographed. I think there's an audience for it. If you see the film, in my research, I found a 1995 essay by Adrian Martin. It's really good. You can Google it very easily online, and he really gives I think the best, that's the best essay I think I've read on wild reeds. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.